are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, we're ready. All right, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, now we're going to review the December 10th, 2019 meeting minutes. Almost lost a decade there.
Yep.
Okay, I went through these in my email.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Is Carol on time?
Meeting minutes have been approved. And it looks like we are letting Drusilla MC again next.
I'm sorry, I don't have a copy of the agenda. Can I look over somebody's shoulder?
Oh, yeah, sure. You know, there's some blurring on there, and the printer needed some.
Yes, so my report, you have a report in front of you. Let me know if there are any questions.
Here's an extra one.
Thank you
Oh,
much.
that's a better copy.
I forgot to hand it down, I'm sorry. I did it.
Programs and events, you'll see the list in here. We are actually, as you can tell, scheduled out for almost a year at this point. Have things scheduled through next November. We have just completed the scheduling for Pearl Jam for next year. I just got the last one this morning, confirmation that they'll be performing. Actually, the father of one of our staff members will be performing for us in October. Patty Buzanowski's father is a musician.
Oh, Billy.
And so he will be our October. So we have a good variety of stuff going on, and then there's more things being scheduled as people call me up and go, "Hi, I'd like to do a thing." So.
Okay, so the financial update.
Financial update, you'll see we are in good shape overall. The one line item that you might notice is utilities is extraordinarily high this year. I am working with National Grid right now. It seems that they decided to charge us for some accounts that aren't ours. Apparently they decided that we own some of the streetlights in Dudley.
I think that's happened before.
Yes, it has. So I am working to try to straighten that out, and at that point, we will get to figure out who owes me money, basically. But we're kind of, between me talking to Debbie and I both talking to National Grid, and then Debbie also talking to the other departments, we're working to get it sorted out. So hopefully that number will stabilize. Although even the accounts that should be ours have been higher this year than they had been, which utility costs go up. That's how life works. So, but hopefully that line item will kind of balance itself out quickly, because we'll take all of the money that we have been paying that we shouldn't have for the past 6 months will come back to us in theory. But we're working on that.
Okay, is that it for the 2020 budget?
No, this is actually the fiscal year. Yes, that's 2020.
Yeah.
Can we go back to the lighting thing? So
Yeah.
they've been charging us monthly, and how is that denominated on the bill itself?
It is not.
Oh, because that's
Which
what
is
I'm saying.
why I
You
have
would've-
been,
somebody
I
would've
checked.
noticed that.
I had noticed that the amounts were high,
Yeah?
but had not had any indication of why that was. And when I went back and looked at the history, that was when I went, wait a minute, in the past they have charged us for things that aren't ours. And so now it's trying to get them to give me a list of exactly which accounts. We know that there's more than one account being charged to the library.
Okay.
I just don't know which ones yet.
Yep.
How many
And-
streetlights are there? in
A
Belleville?
lot. If they're charging us for the entire town,
The
there's a
entire
lot.
town?
Well, that's what
I
we
don't
don't know yet.
think
There
just-
are, as far as I
Be
can
higher than
tell,
this.
Yeah,
Dab
right.
up.
there are
Brandon
3 or
Brandon
4,
Martin,
and
this
nobody
was
seems to be
one
sure
charge
which
Oh.
streetlight accounts. They're divided up sort of in chunks.
Yeah,
And
they
we
are
don't
by
know
sections.
at this point whether they are charging us for all of them or 1 or 2 of them, and haven't quite figured that out yet. But yeah, so I'm working on that.
Okay. Who figures that out, just out of curiosity?
That's sort of between me and Deb Thibodeau, who's the accountant, and National Grid, trying to
Okay.
sort out
Sort it out.
what I'm
Yeah.
being charged for, what I've already paid that I shouldn't have,
Mm-hmm.
and who owes me money from what other department for paying those bills.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
So it may, hopefully by next month we'll have sorted it out, but I'm figuring it might, but to completely sort
You
everything.
caught that, or did Deb Thibodeau catch up?
I realized it was very high and contacted Debbie to ask if any other departments were having extraordinarily, because this is twice what
Yep.
we should have been spending at this
So
point.
someone's
And-
billing has been going down. has
Exactly,
gone down, probably.
but, what department head's gonna be
about
like,
that.
how very strange, I haven't had any,
Yeah.
So anyhow, I contacted her and she was like, I'm not sure what's going on. And so she kind of went back, and then I went back through my records for National Grid, and that was when I discovered that in the past,
Yep.
they had charged us for things and went, you know what?
Good catch.
So
Thank
catch.
you.
I
Thank you.
am hoping in another month or maybe two, because by the time we get everything coordinated, that we will have that back where it should be. That's kind
I
of the
wish you
goal.
well on that.
It's like, but yeah, trying to go back through bills and being like, it
Yeah,
just
how
tells
do
me,
you-
it just tells me it's a gas bill or an electric bill. It doesn't tell me
Right.
what.
There's someone
And
in
then
town hall walking
It
around with a
tells
big
me
smile.
the,
That
it
might
tells
be
me
it.
the address, the service address. It doesn't
Yeah.
tell me what is being
Yeah.
billed to
Mhm.
it, so.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we're working on that. But other than that, we're in really good shape as far as the budget goes.
Very good.
Okay, so next is a review of the 2021 draft budget.
So you will, most things on here are fairly self-explanatory. As was put in the strategic plan, we had said in the strategic plan for the library that we needed another position to work on programming and outreach, so John Ruda had said to us to ask for what we needed, and so at least he would know what we needed, even if it wasn't in this year's budget, so I went ahead and asked for it
Yep.
now. And if we don't get it this year, we'll ask for it again next year. Other than that, the increases are due to standard expected increases, bearing in mind that we are mandated to have a 2.5% increase in our overall budget. With an additional position, that bumps our budget enough that we then have to recalculate the materials line item, because that's mandated to be 16% of the total budget. So that would bump that up quite a bit. Not sure where we're gonna put everything, but there it is. And other than that, I don't think there's anything. I do need to add, obviously you can tell since it doesn't even have the department name on it yet, this is very much a draft. But I do need to add a note reminding the assorted financial decision maker powers that be that we are mandated that 2.5% increase minimum. I do have a thing about needing the 16% of total appropriation.
The IT portion of this, is that software licensing?
That is internet access, software licensing.
Budget?
Yep.
There's a discrepancy.
Should we need new computer
Salary.
equipment, that goes in
Is
there.
that
Because we
correct?
recently replaced a lot of hardware.
Yes. But that also includes the support from CW Mars cost, our desktop support from CW Mars.
Okay, I thought
The
that. I saw that
CW
as
Mars
the last line item,
IT/data is our appropriation from CW Mars.
okay.
That is our cost to be part of the consortium. The
So-
cost for
so we
IT
have-
support is a
Is separate.
separate
Current budget.
Okay, thank you.
line item.
It's at 50? That's not the
50.
current budget. Oh, wait a minute.
63, 66.
So that's a fixed number, that's budget for 2020, same 2020.
So budget right here is 66 and 50.
All right.
Is that what you meant?
So this is current budget right now, this one.
This one is the current.
Yep.
66 and 50.
They'll match, I just checked.
66 and 50. Right here. This is
Okay. All right,
2019.
nope,
Okay.
yep.
All right.
We're good.
Everything good
problem.
over there? Okay.
Okay, any other questions about the 2021 budget draft?
Nope.
Alrighty. So it looks like we're gonna move on to the facility report.
I do need actually an approval of this before I submit it to town.
Oh.
I would make a motion
Okay.
to approve the
Second,
proposed expense,
I think.
proposed, okay.
Alright, Pat seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, I will.
Thank you for that reminder, Gisela.
I will turn that in tomorrow and get it off my desk. And I will obviously keep you all posted as the process
Mhm.
goes along where we are.
Thank you.
Okay, then it would be facility report.
HVAC system is, the boiler has been rebuilt. We have heat in both ends of the building. It was kind of funny, so we have two boilers. We have the one with the exhaust fan and whatnot that we've already rebuilt, and now we have rebuilt the second one, so everything should be good for another 10 years, knock on wood.
Just jinxed us.
But it was very entertaining that, so Lita, the children's librarian, always runs cold. She's always freezing, and I am always hot. So with only the boiler at her end of the building working, it got progressively colder as you got to my office.
It was
So
perfect.
it was beautiful, but she was refusing to come see me. She was sending me
That had
emails, just like
nothing
it's
to
too
do
cold.
with the heat.
But then we did discover that the boiler at that end was working so hard to try to heat the whole library that the Fells room, I ended up setting the thermostat at 55 and it was 82 because that's the midpoint. So chair yoga was hot yoga.
There you go.
For a week. We said people charge extra for that, you know. But it is all set. We had also, I had talked to Renaud about some of the things that we know are coming up, that, you know, we're at that 10-year point. We know in the next year or so there's bits and pieces. So they have already ordered those parts. Some of them are already in the library. They are already there. So we don't have to, when something goes down, we don't have to wait 3 or 4 weeks for the part to come in. So we'll be good to go when we need those.
Good.
Isn't that kind of odd that they can already project?
I mean,
this is what's gonna break, so let's order it.
It's called planned
and-
obsolescence.
I mean, they pretty much have told us that
Wow.
every one of the repair people that's been into work on that are like, yep, 10 years.
Yep.
So we're
Yeah,
right
that's
at
the
that
magic
window.
number these days.
So they like I said, they went ahead and ordered, you know, the stuff. They were like, we can just go ahead and do it now. It's only gonna get more expensive as time goes on. We're just gonna go ahead and buy it. It's in the library, it's there,
Yeah.
we're good to go. And they did clear with me how much all of it was, and none of it wasn't like they were like, here's a $25,000 part, you know, it was, here's this, like.
Now, let's just not lose it.
Yeah.
Don't
They are
Let's
misplace
remember
it.
we have
Don't
it.
misplace it.
So if it's not
Yeah.
obsolete by the time it's
Sue and I
needed.
from Renaud both know what parts are there. I have it in writing, I have the list, and we know where they are, so we should be good to go.
Yes, and Ben's right. Don't forget we have it.
Yeah, so they were very good about, you know, Sil called me up and said, this is what my guys are telling me, you guys are, you know, we haven't done, according to our records, this is what you're looking at. And he said, you know, why don't we just order it now? We know you're gonna need it, if not in the next 6 months, in the 6 months after that, so let's just go ahead and do it, so. We should be all set, hopefully, knock on wood, for HVAC issues. The library sign, they snuck us in between other clients in the area on Friday, so it is improved. They
Yeah.
still have to come back and do whatever else to finish, but at least they got
That'd
here.
be sooner than
Hopefully,
it has been.
the issue is that there is only one place in southern New England that can work on these signs. And it happens to be Graphics Unlimited, but not the office in Dudley, the one in Putnam. So it's not even like we're just down the street and they can fit us in. So that's why, you know, we wait. But they
Putnam's
did-
not that far.
But they are covering 3 states, and anytime one of these signs in 3 states goes, they are the people you call. So
It does look better.
This,
I've
I have to
seen
say
it.
though, this has been an
So-
ongoing, this has been
This
quite
is
a
a
long.
long
Yeah,
standing issue.
really
Right.
long.
yeah, part of the issue apparently is when the programming went down. like your computer monitor, if you turn it off and leave it just sitting on one setting for too long, it messes with the graphics,
Yeah.
and that is, we had it off because we were waiting for the programmability to change, and anyhow, but so hopefully,
So do we have a date?
sometime in the next 2 weeks is what I
Wow.
was told. They should be back to finish.
And you're gonna be right on them, I hope. In
I
2
I
weeks
have
if they
been,
don't show up.
I have been from day one.
Yeah,
I
because I've
called
actually
them.
had people call
Even
me
the-
about that darn sign.
Even
I'm
when
like,
it was-
wow, I
I've been
didn't know
driving
it had
by
that
a
much of an
lot.
impact.
When it was
Yeah.
out for all the time in this, I was calling at least once a week. So it's not
thank
like
you.
I'm just ignoring them and letting
No,
it sit.
you're just
but,
so
you know,
busy though, I know you have
I
a lot
just
of
keep
other
calling and
things.
going, hey guys.
Yeah.
They're like,
yeah.
oh, it's you again.
Yeah, no, I didn't realize how much
Squeaky
people noticed
wheel.
that sign until it
The
stopped
squeaky
working.
wheel.
We
gets the
did,
grease.
we did enjoy telling people that the reason that it was not showing completely was because we wanted them, if they wanted to know what it said, they had to come into the
Yeah.
building and increase our numbers.
Are
That
these the
only
same
works
folks
along
involved
the-
with the sign in front of this building? This Graphics
I
Unlimited
do not
group?
know. I believe so.
think
I
so,
believe
yes.
they are the
I
same.
would say most likely.
Probably.
Yeah, well, the town of Dudley has written some checks to them for over the past few years, so.
Yeah.
They're local.
Um,
They're the
They're
Perry
the-
family.
They're the
Well,
local business.
but not
so-
the people that we need, apparently.
Yeah,
Local.
So mark that on your calendar, Drusilla, with all
It,
the
it
other
is
things
actually
that's
on my,
there.
my list of, I have a list of things that are like
Hopefully it will be
ongoing.
repaired before the legislative breakfast.
That would be nice.
Yes.
Otherwise, we're
Yes.
just gonna put a sign,
Good
like
point.
poster board over it. But no, I have a list of things that I
Thank
need to
you.
do weekly, and that is on, you know, checking on any outstanding maintenance issues is on that.
That plumbing issue, saw those emails, that must have been fun.
Yeah, so we've had 2 separate plumbing issues in recent weeks. One was the staff toilet decided to start flushing and not stop. It just,
remember that.
we had like an indoor water feature, it was great. It was very
So it was
exciting.
overflowing?
No,
Oh.
it was flushing,
Just kept
as it
flushing.
should have been, it just never stopped. Just, we had sort of a continuous water feature going in the staff bathroom.
Wouldn't that mean that water's constantly running though?
Yes.
Isn't that very bad?
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
fortunately, it did this just after I started and decided to do it again. And so fortunately, the last time they showed me where the shutoff valve was. But so I called Arl Spall and he came in and looked at it and he said, you know, these sensors are just issues. So we replaced it. We took the sensor off and put a manual flush system in. It cost us a couple $100, but we will not have that issue ever again. So that's done. The other plumbing issue we got, not this past Friday, the Friday before, when I was due at a CW Mars meeting that was considered mandatory. One of the patrons came up to the desk and said, "There's the toilet in the children's bathroom is backing up." Okay.
Children's bathroom?
Yes, the children's bathroom, and there's a bathroom in the children's department that's child-sized. Everything is
Oh.
shorter, and has
Didn't know
a
that.
has a changing table and everything
Oh,
in it. So
okay.
it's so we went. Okay, standard operating procedure. You turn the water off, and then you put a sign on. And I call George and say, when you're here tomorrow, you know, do your plunging thing or whatever. Just as I was going back to the desk to call George, patron comes in and says, "There's brown water coming up through the drain in the women's bathroom, in the floor." And I went, "Oh dear." So then one of the staff volunteered to check the men's room, and Lita went and checked the staff bathroom, and there was water coming up in all of them. So immediately said, you know what?
Clog.
We can't be open with no available bathrooms. So immediately said, half an hour warning, we're gonna shut down. Called Arl Spall. I will give Jay Spall a lot of credit. He was there in less than 10 minutes. Showed up, looked at it, went, "Oh, this is gonna take a while." And so he went out and acquired whatever supplies he needed. Lita volunteered to stay so that I could get to the meeting and deal with what CW Mars needed me to deal with. And they determined that the block was over somewhere in the reading area.
That's what it was the last time,
Yep.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the comment was, you know, people flush things that they would never flush in their
At
home
home.
bathroom. You would never do it because you would think there's going to be a clog, and people just have this weird idea that plumbing in a bathroom in a library is different from the plumbing in the bathroom at home, and it's really not. So they had it cleared. We were good to go by the end of the day. They even cleaned the floors in the bathroom. George wasn't quite sure about how well they cleaned the floors in the bathroom, but they did clean the floors in the bathroom.
I'm sure he cleaned them again.
He did, yes. Well, he has excellent standards, which is good,
Rather
so.
be extra sanitary.
So we are hopefully good until the next person flushes something that they
Did we
should.
find the culprit like we did the
Yes.
first time?
Yes.
Similar?
We did.
No, the item, not the person.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
the-
maybe both.
No, the indication is that someone had flushed the flushable diaper wipes, which are not in fact flushable.
I know, yeah. they're not, yeah.
And what happens with as much use as the plumbing in the building gets is that sort of slows things down, and then
Yeah.
stuff kind of builds up from there, so.
And
So
I
if
can't
anyone.
go back to the library because I was there both twice.
Yeah,
Each
so
time
you're
I
not
was there,
allowed.
I just
no.
walked in and it happened. I was like, okay, I'm not allowed to go back in the library.
I've
so-
been amazed, the building seems none the worse for all of this. You know,
No,
you'd
they
think with
did
these
a-
events having occurred, that you'd go in and
They
you'd
did
detect
a
something in the
phenomenal
odor or the
job
floors or-
No.
But it's been-
protecting
Jay does really
everything.
nice job.
And very carefully checked, because the next place beyond where the clog was, that he thought it likely would be actually behind my office, and so he checked, so they pretty much had narrowed down
We
where
could get him
it
to
was.
work on the sign.
Yeah. I'll ask,
I
I'll
mean,
see.
he knows our plumbing well enough.
Yes.
And
Yes.
he starts at the right spot, so if he
Yeah.
does, he's not opening this one that could overflow in the middle of our rug. He starts
And
there,
he-
he works his way
He
progressively.
checked, he had
does a
me
really
walk with
good-
him through the
and he
building
knows
and
the whole
check
thing.
various
It-
spots,
It all
and
goes out
immediately.
in her end of the building.
Yep.
So all the way from the children's library, it goes all the way down there
Yep.
to go out to Brandon Road.
Which is-
It's a long shot.
Which is part of the issue, that there's
Oh,
a
yeah.
long
It's
way
a
for stuff to
long
travel
shot.
under that whole building.
Do we
There-
now have a sign in the
That
children's?
was my
have-
next
We do.
thing.
We
Yeah,
have
there are.
always
There are
had
signs in
signs. The
Signs
signs are not
everywhere.
new, the signs have always
Yeah.
been there. The signs are in all of the bathrooms that request that people not flush anything except toilet paper.
And there is
Yeah.
something there for the other
Maybe we need to say,
Yes.
though,
Yes.
There's a
flushable
receptacle.
wipes are not flushable, because I will say that is a misconception. You know what I
I
mean?
believe the
They-
one in the, I haven't been in the children's bathroom lately, but I believe the one in the children's bathroom specifically mentions diapers and
Oh,
flushable
it
wipes.
does
That's what I
mention-
was gonna ask.
I can
Should
attest,
go
it
in
does
the-
mention diapers.
Should go in the diaper pail that's sitting
Right,
right
right
there.
there.
Yeah.
People
so,
don't.
You know,
And it wasn't that long ago that it happened. Yeah. This is twice in
it was
2 years.
Yeah, it was
This is
November.
just before you came.
Yes.
But Jay Spall's comment was,
Something like that.
with that long run, 4 bathrooms coming together, 3 of which are publicly used, and that long run of pipe, he was like, it's just,
Yeah,
same as in houses, it happens occasionally, well, then you multiply the use by
yeah, sure.
however many people come through the door, so. Anyhow, so that is all fixed, we're all better. I was very grateful that Lita was like, I'll stay, don't worry, go to your meetings. So, and then, fortunately, I was in a meeting with other library directors, so when I could say, I'm sorry, there's a plumbing issue at the library, I need to have my phone on, they all went, oh, yes, of course, they all understood. So I was getting live texting. He's just brought in the giant drain snake. Its name is Bessie. I don't know if you know that, it had a name, but it did.
And he had his
So
grandson there.
it was,
He had grandson there who was doing all the work. He was great.
but it was very nice to have that kind of communication that I didn't have to worry about, so that was nice. And hopefully, knock on wood, I will not have to deal with that for at least another week, because it's very exciting.
I love your pen.
Well,
I just noticed that. I'm
Thank
sorry,
you.
I love that.
Actually, I read, Pat was kind enough to send an article or copy an article to, I think, all of us. And I was
Yes,
reading that and I figured I'd wear this thing, so.
Yeah, I really like that. Sorry. So yeah, looks like next is the landscape project RFP.
So apparently, the town of Dudley has never done an RFP for landscape architecture before. So Michelle in the selectman's office and I sort of grabbed a couple of vaguely relevant former RFPs, and she told me what needed to be in it and sent me forth to create an RFP. And I'm eternally grateful to those libraries that have not taken down their RFPs from previous projects that are similar to this one, because I did a lot of copying and pasting.
So this is for the lot to the side of the
This
library.
is the lot to the side of the library,
Yay.
yes. So this is obviously a draft, would, from here, with the board's approval, goes to Jonathan Ruda, then goes to the town legal counsel to make sure that it has everything on it that it needs to have, because they know which attachments and whatever it needs. And so I did put dates in just as sort of a working timeline, but my guess is that those are not going to be the actual dates for things, because by the time it goes through all the steps it needs to go
Right.
through, and then the selectmen approve it.
So who will change the dates?
That would be John Ruda
John, okay.
as the chief procurement officer.
So we'll make a motion to approve as presented with the options of minor changes made by our town.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
as
So we'll keep it
necessary.
quiet. We don't want it to have to
and-
come back to us.
If
Yeah,
that's
the
a motion, I'll
plan-
second that.
The
Yeah.
plan is that the town people that need to do things would do what they needed to do on their end, but the walkthrough, assuming there's not a lot of snow so we can actually get there, or the stand in the parking lot and point through, would be handled by me. The opening of bids would actually be me and designated, whichever board members the board wishes to designate to be there, to actually open them, and then the board would review. So it would not be, unlike anything that happens at this building, which is reviewed by, the people from here, this would be the library board's purview to review
Final
bids.
decision, or we have to pass it to the?
It has to
selectmen?
go to the selectmen, but the comment I was given was that the town administrator would strongly recommend whatever choice the board and I made, so. Which is also why you'll notice.
Is that in here? I didn't see that.
No, that's
Okay.
internal, that is not part of the art, this is what goes out,
Yeah.
that is internal. But you will notice that for evaluation criteria, I did put that preference will be given to the proposal which, in the judgment of the board and the library director, indicates previous projects comparable.
I
It
downloaded
is-
on here, so.
Yes, it is there.
So, that would be
Yeah.
the criteria
Yeah,
used.
that was the case too when we built the building too. It was the building committee, the board.
Yeah, so,
But we had to pass that.
We did,
For the
yeah.
ultimate, and the
Yeah,
selectmen were very good.
because they had to do the final signing.
Yeah, there is under section 4 of this proposal evaluation procedure, proposal selection. Proposal will be reviewed by the library director and the library board of trustees, who shall recommend the most advantageous proposal to the board of selectmen. The board of
Yeah.
selectmen reserve the right to accept or
yeah,
reject.
and the Board of Selectmen reserving the right to accept or is in every RFP ever
Ever,
done
yeah.
by the towns, that has to be.
Oh, that's understandable.
But,
Very cool. So I believe we have the motion made by Ben and seconded by Richard.
Think so.
All in favor?
Aye. Wish you well.
All right,
Wish
I
us all
will-
well.
Right? That's exciting.
I will pass this on to the Selectmen's office again tomorrow and send it on its journey.
A long winding path, actually.
Let it go forth and do its thing. But yeah, first step in the process of doing something over there, so.
All right, the update on the legislative breakfast.
I had a phone call from Lisa Cheever, who is the director at Blackstone Public, and she is coordinating all of the legislative breakfasts for Central Mass. She actually called me today to apologize that she felt terrible, that she just realized that I was the only one who had never done one of these before, hosting one, and she had not given me any more guidance than she had given anyone else, and was deeply apologetic, and then, wanted to know if I had any questions. So we went through the checklist of everything that needs to be done, and she said, sounds like we're on the right track. All of the things that need to be done by this point are done, so it's just a matter of, as we get closer to the date, checking off some of the other boxes, making sure that the press release goes out, that kind of thing. The Friends have agreed that they will provide food, they will purchase coffee and donuts and pastries from Dippin' Donuts. CMLA will actually reimburse me for the cost of, because that's easier than them going out and purchasing fruit trays and so on for the day of. So they will cover any other costs. Up to something like $250, and that would be an awful lot of fruit. So I don't think we're
Yeah.
gonna get that far. Lisa also sent me today the list of, so there's a standing, has been used for every one of these, there's a list of who speaks in what order kind of thing. And so she sent that to me today, and it's just a matter of crossing out one name, you know, who's speaking for the Mass Board of Library Commissioners, for example, and putting in a different name. And I now have all of the names that I need. It's just a matter of, like I said, slotting them into that so we have it the day of. So I think we're in good shape for that.
So you will have, you said, a press release.
I will put out a press release closer to the date of, because
And
they operate about 2 weeks in advance.
Okay, I would hope that perhaps there might be some press coverage.
Hopefully,
someone on site.
I mean, that is not
Ideal.
up to me, but I am hoping that the Webster Times will think that this is.
A lot of times, if we take pictures, you can submit.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
Nice to have their own person on site, because they'll probably provide some verbiage along with that. Perhaps even the Worcester Telegram,
Yeah, hello.
if it's still in business.
And we're also going to, again, closer to the date, put out postcards at the Circ desk, inviting the public to attend if they would like
Good.
to.
The selectmen and.
The selectmen have already been notified that it's happening. I did hear from John Ruda that his response was, "I love me some breakfast," so I'm hoping that means that he will be in attendance.
He'll be there, he'll be there. Breakfast is
So
important.
again, I have a list of people that need reminder emails as we get closer to the date, so those will go out. But
So I made phone calls to many of the representatives in Senator Fatman's district, and Representative Durant is coming. Representative Murray seems to be the coordinator of this. That's what I
Okay.
was told, that Brian Murray was the coordinator.
Okay.
And that Representative Soder did ask if he wants to know about speaking, if he's wanted to, you know,
Yeah.
he needs to know.
My understanding is that everybody's name, all of the assorted politicians who are coming are on the list, and then it is up to them whether they wish to speak or not. That is what I was told today.
Is it a couple of minutes each? Is that
It's
what-
just a couple of minutes each,
Yeah.
because it's only an hour, so it's. you
So
know.
I will call him back.
If
and
you
I
would,
will
that would be
ask
wonderful,
him
and if
wants
he would like to speak,
I will put his name forward to you, and
Yeah.
if not.
if he just wants to eat donuts, that's fine too.
I've left messages with the others and have not heard back,
Okay.
but I did hear back from several, and that was.
Yeah, and I've heard from a couple of the offices, like the aides in the offices, saying, "I'll let you know," basically, which is
Yeah.
much the same thing. So.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions about the breakfast? All right. Update on the 10th anniversary plans.
So we are sort of nailing things down at this point, which is good because we're still 6 months out. Definite date is July 11th from 10 to 2. The library staff have been notified that if they can be there, it would be helpful. So they're all kind of checking since Saturdays in the summer we are not normally open, so they are checking their schedules to see who would be able to help. We have Max and Susie Q's coming to do ice cream and burgers and hot dogs and so on. We're still nailing down how we're going to do ticketing for that, but the next committee meeting will kind of hopefully finalize that detail. We have a face painter coming, and also a magician / balloon animal person who will kind of be wandering during the event. We have David Polanski will be performing from 12:30 to 1:30. He had been lined up to be our July Pearl Jam performer, and so we're just combining Pearl Jam with the anniversary and kind of slotting him into that. We are, Pat just gave me draft actually bookmarks that we can have out for patrons, and also postcards to invite.
Actually, I had 11 to 2 on there, so I guess I need to change that. 10 to 2.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But so we'll have, this one has 10 to 2, this one has 11 to 2.
Okay.
Were you debating that, Pat?
I did that a little later in the morning.
Some people can come at 10 and others apparently not to 11.
We'll
How
split it
special
up.
you are.
But so the members of the committee have been asked to get me, over the next couple months, a list of who needs to be invited, you know, with actual postcards. So we'll do that as we get closer to the date, because if I send them out now, nobody will remember that it's happening.
Except the Crawfords.
Except the Crawfords,
They
Ben
have-
has been in touch with the Crawfords.
They are putting it on their calendars, and I've been asked to add more to my email list for relatives in the Crawford family.
Excellent.
So it's
If
great.
I may, one question in regards to parking.
Yeah.
What do we anticipate there?
We are on that.
On
The committee
that.
the committee is on it. We are going to talk to both the funeral home and town hall about using parking space there.
Okay.
And then have the police sort of coordinate traffic in the area, because the plan is to have
Okay.
some of the activities, the food trucks and so on, will obviously be outside. So we want to close off the parking lot.
So there'll be that much less in terms of public access. than
Yeah,
currently.
and have people park either across the street or up at town hall.
It's a short walk from here. I used to do it all
It's,
the time.
oh
as
yeah,
a kid.
we've
It is,
done it
it
with
is.
children
Yeah.
for events all the time. So
Yeah.
the plan would be to sort of close off the area around, and we're treating it sort of like a carnival or a fair,
Mhm.
that there's
Like a
all
block
kinds of
party or
things.
something.
Exactly. And we will start with speechifying, as I keep calling it, you know, the welcome to the 10th anniversary. We'd like to unveil the plaque on the millstone, the rock, as I keep calling it. It's become the rock among the staff. And also hopefully have the scouts do a formal flag raising ceremony. One of the Crawford heirs to sing the national anthem.
They didn't jump on that.
We're hoping, we're gonna try. And then also hopefully at the same time, formally announce the plans for the vacant lot,
Mhm.
or at least announce that we're working on it, depending on how far we've gotten.
Would it be cool if we had a picture to display?
That's the hope.
That's the hopeful
Yeah.
plan.
Assuming that we've gotten that
So
far,
cool.
assuming that weeve gotten that far, we would like to have the picture and
I'm
so
getting
on.
excited about that.
And Ed Bazinet has confirmed, it is on his calendar, he will be staffing the local history room that day, and we will have images from the history of the library as a whole, in images and items. And also members of the committee are going to bring in, some of them still have hard hats and so on from the groundbreaking. And so we will be doing a display of some of the artifacts as well, so.
Very good, very good.
That
You mentioned the flag, just as an aside, I noticed that the illumination that we have at the top of the flag in the evening and at night, not much.
I know.
It's a little
Don't
more
get
hopeful
me
there.
started on the flag illumination.
Okay.
That's one of my, it's one of my things. But that is the same illumination that the town hall flag has at the top of the pole, so. Unless, we did find the spotlights that were supposed to be set into the sidewalk when the building was built. I now know where those are. They're not in the sidewalk, in case you wondered. They're in very large boxes
I knew they
back in
weren't
the
on the
storage room.
sidewalk.
But originally, apparently, it took Dennis and George and I to figure out what these things were, because they're in pieces, obviously. It's not like, oh, look, here's a spotlight. Originally, they were supposed to be set into the concrete to sort of uplight the flag, and they are still in boxes
And you know why they
with
weren't?
packing slips.
They weren't because of lead. Too much
Oh,
light.
too much.
Yeah.
Too much light. We had to back off some of the lighting.
But should anyone want a set of in-ground spotlights, we'll make you a good deal. They still have the packing slips and everything.
They're not subject to the same 10-year shelf life as everything else is, are they? I mean,
I
just
don't
sitting
know.
there.
But they're sitting in these boxes.
Turn them on at the next book sale.
There we go.
Baubles and bling.
Bubbles and bling by a spotlight.
Oh, yeah. That's a good thought.
All right, any other things on the 10th anniversary? Just want to make sure before we move on.
Should be a lot of fun, so I hope everyone has it on their calendar.
Sounds like it will be, yes.
All right, so next is the review of the fiscal year 2019 annual report. Is that what that is?
Yes, so that is the report to the Board of Supervisors, so that is Pat.
Yes.
Because apparently it wasn't me that needed to do it, which was very.
Yes, I thanks for Priscilla for
exciting.
doing that, because typically I've done that, and it's basically just taking the numbers from the ARIS report and putting them in, so it wasn't, the most difficult thing is getting everybody's term correct for the Board of Trustees.
I have a question, if I may. I'm not sure who I might direct this to. I suspect probably Drusilla. Under library material holding, it's noted as e-books in excess of 61,000. Yet, in terms of circulation information, e-books are circulating at less than 4,000.
Yep.
Whereas on the other hand, books are listed as holdings of over 40,000, with circulation of almost all of those apparently, close to 37,000.
Yep.
Is there a trend here?
So first of all, ebooks holdings are actually consortium-wide. So they're not our personal, they are the C.W. Morris collection that our patrons have access to.
Okay, so the 61,000.
61,000 is consortium-wide. We don't have the money for 61,000 ebooks, even if I wanted to buy 61,000 ebooks.
If I may, though, the circulation information is
Yes,
particular.
and that is the trend.
That's
Print
going
books
up?
are, no, print books are holding steady and even going slightly up at most libraries, and ebook circulation is going down.
Really?
It is. Actually, that was a discussion at the American Library Association this past weekend, that ebook circulation hit a plateau about 2 or 3 years ago and has been steadily declining since. People prefer print books. And
I have to agree
the
with that.
expectation
I find it
was,
very hard to read.
the expectation was that teenagers and young adults would flock to ebooks, and instead they strongly prefer print. And our teens and young adults are no exception.
So the forests are still in danger.
Over the past, last year, when we had summer reading books, we would tell, the students, you can wait, 2 weeks until the copy is available, or however long until we get a copy delivered, or you can have an ebook right now. And every one of them wanted to wait for the print book. So it is, the purchase of those ebooks that are held by the C.W. Morris Consortium are a small percentage of our appropriation, so every library pitches in because it's a shared collection, but all of us have quite low, for the size of the collection, ebook circulation.
If I may, do you know what the difference would have been year over year? We have figures apparently for this annual report, but was it more or less last year?
Circulation for ebooks, I think, was roughly the same.
Same.
I can send you a copy of last year's.
I was just curious
But
as to
it
if there was
did
any sort
not-
of a trend.
It did not change a great deal. It was one of our numbers.
Some
that
of the
was-
numbers are lower, too, because of the staff changeover, too, during that time, the director and
Perhaps the
youth
opening of the
services,
Webster
yeah.
Library as well may have had
Right.
some impact, because I think we saw a lot of patrons coming from Webster for at least a bit of time anyway.
Is there a way of putting this on a spreadsheet so we can have columns for 3 years running or
That
something?
is the ARIS
That would be-
report. The ARIS report
The
is
ARIS,
in
that's
columns.
right,
When
that's
you got a copy of the ARIS report, however many months ago you got
That's
a
true.
copy, it's in the columns and it's exactly the same information. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah, it's
significantly
just
less
copied
information
over.
in this than the
Right.
federally mandated data about
Yeah.
That's true. I
everything.
didn't think about that, yeah. Good, thank you.
I think one of the most impressive things here, and hopefully whoever it might be in our listening audience or viewing audience this evening to take note of, is the total attendance to the library in excess of 61,000.
Yeah.
In excess of 61,000.
Yeah, that's
And
what?
the community
Four
is
times
what,
our-
12,000? And
Yeah.
Dudley's
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
four
approximately-
times
the-
it, 5
It's
times, yeah.
almost 5 times our population, which is amazing for a library of our
Right.
size.
That might work, this why some of the things are wearing out in 10 years. A lot of traffic.
There is a lot of traffic, and the library is very heavily used, yeah, which is wonderful. But it's rare for us to only have 5 people in the building. There have been a couple of afternoons where everyone's like, I only see 10 people, where is everyone?
Yeah, even when I come in later, there's always a lot of people. 'cause
There's
I'm
always
not
people.
along during the day much because of work. But
And we
after,
regularly,
it's
as we
always
did
busy.
today,
We're closed.
have to kick people out at,
Yeah.
they know closing is coming, but they're still there and they're
Still
still
there.
using things, and we have to go.
Yeah.
I had to tell one gentleman today that I appreciated that he wanted to sit and read his book, but I didn't want him keeping me company after the library closed. So,
No,
he
definitely.
would need to leave, so.
We need a motion to accept the report?
I was
then,
just
is
gonna
there?
ask that.
I don't know that we do, but it wouldn't hurt to have one.
All right, I would like to move that we accept the report as presented for the period July 2018 through June 30th, 2019.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And Pat, will you submit that to?
I will.
Excellent. And we are
So I
actually,
can submit it to the town, right?
Yes.
yeah,
okay.
and we're actually ahead of the game. It's not due for another month, but I wanted to just have it done and off the list, so.
Okay. So, an update on the town personnel study?
Yeah, so the town is doing, they had a grant to do, I understand, a personnel study. All department heads were summoned to a meeting last week to sort of review what was happening with the study. Essentially, it is not so much a salary study, which I think is a misconception. They are reviewing what job responsibilities actually are. They are updating all of the job descriptions, and then they are going to do a sort of compensation study to go, once they know what people actually do and what the actual job descriptions are, that will help the consultant figure out, comparing apples to apples, instead of saying, well, just because your title is the same doesn't mean you necessarily do the same thing. So all town employees have been given a giant packet that has, on a range of 1 to 5, which most closely describes your level of responsibility, has everyone writing out what their daily activities are, not what their job description says, but what they actually do. So including myself, I've completed mine. It's already been very interesting. As the department head, I've requested to make comments on the library staffs, to say whether I agree with this or not. And it's been very interesting to see the sort of different viewpoints on what the most crucial things are. Everybody kind of balances each other out, and everybody agrees that patron service is, assisting patrons is kind of number one, which is great, but then you can tell that different people have different focuses, which is great that we have that balance. I did think it was funny, the consultant said for, department heads, now a number of department heads, they're the only ones, or like the assessor only has one other person. So they made a point of saying that I had more people to kind of wrangle. But he said, for you guys, there's a whole section where we're supposed to write out what our daily activities are. And he said, just as you go through the day, just write down what you do. Well, mine went down the page, onto the back, and it's like, as I'm kind of writing and it's broken into primary and then sort of secondary responsibilities, and I'm kind of, so that was kind of funny that I don't think they were expecting that, the library had these lengthy lists of things that we do. But so those are due on Friday, live to town hall by Friday. Library staff have been asked to get them to me by Wednesday. I already have most of them. There's just 1 or 2 that I don't have.
What percentage of your list had nothing to do with library science?
A lot. There, things like dealing with building management,
Exactly.
building maintenance,
Plumbing.
I think
Plumbing.
Margaret in Southbridge told me once that 60% of her time is spent on
60%, yeah.
Yeah. But, and then dealing with the phone calls that I get just on a regular basis, and paying invoices and so on, all the things that have nothing to do with checking out books and doing programming. It was actually sort of eye-opening for me to actually look at the list, because I don't really think about it. I just do what I do. I don't really think about how much time I spend on different things. But my understanding is the consultant will be picking everything, all of the packets up next week. He will then be meeting with every non-union town employee, I should say. This does not apply to the union because they have their own bargaining. But so I did tell him I hoped he was planning to just come to the library, because that was going to be a lot easier than trying to send everyone up the hill. But he's going to actually sit down and talk to every person about what they wrote and what, ask them any questions he needs to ask. So.
Do they have a date when they anticipate completion of this
They
project?
did not give us a date. I was told that it was going to be a several-month project. That was sort of all we were told. I would be guessing if you're going to talk to every town employee and then put together new job descriptions and then go out to what comparable departments in other towns make, I'm guessing you're looking at 6 months for this to be completed.
Our work did it, and it took like a year. So.
Okay. So long term.
The consultant did tell me that he appreciated that libraries did make all of the salary data and collection data and so on available through the Mass Board of Library Commissioners, which was good because he knows that that's available. I didn't have to tell him that it was there. But he did tell me that he appreciated that our department had more people and had a little more complexity, but at the same time, some of the data he needed was much more readily available. So we will see where this goes.
We will.
All right, town election nomination papers.
Yes, I checked out when nomination papers would be available, and that is,
Already?
yep, March 5th.
Yep, I got the same answer, so we're
Yep.
consistent there.
And they need to be returned with 50 signatures on April 22nd or 23rd by 5 PM, but it's the Monday.
I think I'm the only one that has to do it.
Richard, too.
Richard.
Oh,
There's
okay.
two of us, I think, Pat, you and I.
No,
No,
Pat
no.
was reelected.
Stephanie and I.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I've got 2 more years, and the following year, it's Harrison and Joyce. 21st.
Is there 2 1-years up, or or one year and another 2-year? I don't even know.
they're all 3-year terms.
It's all 3, it'll be a 3-year term.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just-
Because I remember last year
It
it
was
was for
just
1
this year,
year.
it was 1 year.
Oh,
So you
okay.
were finishing up someone else's term.
Yeah.
is
Oh,
what
okay.
happened.
Oh, all right.
Richard was, and then we had a 1-year term that was open, so you
I
filled
thought that was
one.
weird. Okay, so that was why.
Yeah, you just
Okay.
finish.
Right.
Because I was like, am I going to have to do this every year?
3 years.
You get to be pretty good at it if you were doing it every year.
Oh, God. I got to say, I did have fun hanging out at the recycling center. Those guys are pretty nice over there. And a lot of the patrons are really great.
Yeah.
Our residents are awesome. All right, yeah, so it looks like the last thing, to make sure everybody is good with the February 25th meeting.
Actually, we have board member comments and observations.
Sorry, I skipped that on accident. Board member comments and or observations.
Just an observation. I think I might have misspoken earlier when I said total attendance at the library, 61,000 plus. In actuality, that's only the number that goes past the counter,
Yes.
correct? So those
A lot of
who,
programs.
those who
Yeah.
may have gone into the Fells room and avoided the
And they're
counters
not
are
going to
not
the-
in that figure. So,
But the programming you count.
Yes, but
Yeah,
we
so-
count the attendance at programming,
Yeah.
but the people who attend programs and do not go into the main library are not counted in the overall statistic.
so that number
That is
does
a
not
strict-
reflect the people in the
That is a
program.
strict measurement of
So,
the people that come all the way into the building.
the
past
low
hours.
number would be the 61,192. In actuality,
It's
the
definitely
number
higher.
would be something in excess
And
of
we-
Add
that.
about
So
3,000 to that.
We
So we're
know-
adding, we're close to 65,000 in
Yeah,
total.
about
right?
We
3,000.
definitely know that, for example, chair yoga, a lot
Yeah.
of the folks who come for chair yoga do not come all the way into the library. They come and then they leave
Right.
from the Fells room,
So
so,
that's
yes.
still a more gaudy number.
But I
if you
did
will.
put the
I mean,
tax
remarkable.
forms inside the counter
Yes,
so
you
that
did.
they don't have to walk in.
Census forms, I think.
The census
too,
forms
drop
also,
off.
yes, we just move everything in the counter,
Trying to
so
pull them in.
that's my goal.
That's my comment.
Any other comments?
Yes, I do. At some point, I knew we had a lot to talk about tonight, so I didn't put bylaws on, but did I send everyone a copy of the bylaws? I didn't. I think I sent them to you, Drusilla, the trustee bylaws, to see if there's anything.
You did, it was a
Yeah, I
while
think
ago.
they're sitting in a folder.
That's okay. But I'll send a copy of the current ones. I'm going to have some recommended changes based on things we're doing right now that just need to get updated in the process. Like even it says in there that monthly would get a copy of the invoices that were paid, and we're actually getting them weekly. So, we just need to.
Just type them up.
Yeah,
And we should
yeah,
go, I
exactly.
mean, that could be, actually be a number, pick a chunk. And you did it once already.
Yeah, we did the policies.
You did
I was
the
just gonna
policy,
say
but
no
just-
policy review tonight.
I did, because we had so
Just-
much else on the
Okay.
agenda, I did not put a policy review,
Yeah.
so.
Just, I checked my email and you hadn't sent out the
Okay,
bylaws.
All right.
All right.
So, yeah, I will send a copy so everyone has the most up-to-date version of it. Also online today, and I can't remember exactly what email from the library I got this from, but the Library Trustee Institute is going to be held on Saturday, April 27th, 2020, from 9:30 to 3 at the AC Hotel in Worcester, and that is something worth attending, I think. Joyce and I were there last year.
April 27th, is that morning, evening, I mean, whole day?
It's 9:30 to 3. is
Yeah, it's all day.
What day of the week did you say that was?
Saturday? No?
That's a Monday.
It's a Monday.
So I have a wedding on
Okay,
Sunday. the
maybe,
20th.
then, okay, because I had written down 2019, and I was looking at their website. This must be the one they had last year.
Okay,
So we'll have to see what the
okay, I was just gonna
this
say,
year's is.
just happen to have an
Mhm.
event
But
on
it-
that
it's-
Sunday.
It's worth attending at least once, just to hear what they have to say.
When you do get the new date, do let us all know,
Yep.
please.
Okay, that's all I have to say.
Anything else? No?
Motion two.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.